What's happening, Jason? And Jason, I'm making a video so that other people that are in similar situations can also benefit from the information. And let me give you some background. Jason is a super athlete. You know, he's long distance runner. He's going to do some triathlons. An incredible muscular shape, extremely strong. So he's should be on a different nutritional program than, say, if you want to lose 30 pounds, because our goal now is to put on lean muscle mass. I mean, if we put 5 more pounds, Jason's going to be in men's health because he's getting that shredded up, that ripped. It's incredible. So we don't want to restrict his carbohydrates. We want to make sure the quality of the carbohydrates is extremely good, and that Jason's also focused in on placement and timing of carbohydrates to be around the workout. So where he's extremely busy and you might be extremely busy, so you don't know when your workout's going to be that day, which is tough for me, but it might be doable for you. So what you want to do is time those carbohydrates. If your workout is in the morning and you like to eat before the workout, you can have your carbohydrates before that or directly after that, the majority of the carbohydrates. What we're really going to change is, and Jason's a super health conscious guy, and you might be as well, so you've been, the average information out there is that fat is bad. The only fat that's good is omega fatty 3 acids and 6 and 9. But in reality, if you look at the studies, not the observational studies, but the clinical studies that are really the definitive truth on fat and cholesterol, you'll see that it's really the quality of the fat that are important. It's not a miracle that omega-3 fatty acids are so beneficial. Lots of fatty acids are beneficial. Fats are an essential nutrient. Okay, protein's essential. You can't live without protein and fats. Carbohydrates are non-essential. They can be used. They should be used. All your food, all your nutrients act almost like drugs in your body. They help produce testosterone. They help to produce insulin. Different processes are happening when you're eating certain foods. So if you want great performance and you want to put on muscle mass, it's important that you're taking in the right nutrients, because we can put you on the best supplements in the world, but if your nutrients are and your foods are terrible, then we're going to have problems. So with that being said, I'm recommending additional fat intake. So if Jason was eating egg whites and oatmeal in the morning, I would prefer it to have a smaller amount of oatmeal and a larger amount of fats. So we would switch to something, I believe, an omelet, and the quality of your egg is almost as important to me as eating the fats. You need to have cage-free. It should be labeled cage-free, or I believe organic is suitable, but it's kind of a loose term. Cage-free, grain-fed would be the optimal egg for you to find. Of course, it's going to cost $2 more, and I understand that if you're not in a financial position, these are decisions you need to make, but you should be eating the eggs. I get my eggs fresh from the farm. If you're in New Jersey, you can always, Green Meadow Farms will deliver the eggs. They have eggs every day. Chickens just lay them, and they eat the bugs outside. That's what's important to me. I want them eating the bugs. I don't want them to be living in a big factory, crapping on each other, and the eggs are mass produced. That's probably not what you're looking for. And this is true for beef, fish. If you're eating fish right now and the fish are coming from contaminated areas, which is highly possible considering Fukushima has had a tsunami, right? And not only did nuclear material, all that material from Japan, and there's a gigantic mass of garbage in the Pacific right now. They say it's as big as Texas. I don't even understand how that can be possible. But if those fish are taking in any of those chemicals, and I don't want to sound like just some maniac hippie, it's a small chance that you would actually, get sick from this. Who knows? I'm not sure. I don't know what type of chemicals. I don't know how the fish are interacting. All I know is it's good to know where your food is coming from, and that it's not contaminated. And hopefully what you can do is, if you go to Whole Foods or even Trader Joe's or higher end places, hopefully they've done the homework for you, and you can always talk to the fishmonger or the butcher, because the butcher at ShopRite tells me to go to Whole Foods to get my beef. So and I just go to my brother's farm, and they get a whole cow out there that I know is organic, grass-fed. Cows, the same thing. Cows won't even have, they'll have omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids if they're grass-fed. If they're not grass-fed, they won't have any of that. They just feed them on corn. So you want to step up your profile of your foods. Why wouldn't you? This is super important. It is going to make you live longer, feel better, and so we're going to increase the fats, basically, getting back to the point. Jason, you're going to have steak, you're going to have chicken with the skin on it. Instead of breading the chicken in whole wheat flour, it's better if you have a rotisserie chicken with the skin on it, or not a hugely, an 80-20 fat piece of steak, and opt for the vegetables, in my opinion, over the vegetables and I know whole grain. Whole grain has become a term that could be very loose. It could be where they're just bleaching it brown on the way back in. You really don't need those whole grains. It's better for you to eat like asparagus and cauliflower, broccoli, and better quality carbohydrates. Your body will still perform greatly. You can continue with the sweet potatoes and the old-fashioned oatmeal. And remember, Jason's on a performance. If you're on a performance diet where you want to build muscle and you want to perform as best as possible with your running, but if you want to lose body fat, the advice is going to be different, because you don't want to eat the same diet. Besides that, supplements I will take care of. We're probably going to test out creatine, since Jason doesn't seem to have any adverse effects to it. Alpha-lipoic acid, of course, probably additional fatty acids. And remember, cholesterol needs to be synthesized in order to make testosterone. So by limiting your cholesterol, limiting your fat so low, cholesterol has been really mismanaged the way they talk about it. Cholesterol in your system is there to repair. It's almost in every single cell's wall. You need it to repair the cells. It's the molecules, the particles that take the cholesterol around the body that's either the problem or not the problem. And LDL, they usually refer to it as bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol comes in different forms. It can be either, technically they call it light and fluffy. Light and fluffy, so it brings it's a bus, right? And then the cholesterol are the people inside the bus. So the bus is the LDL, and it's actually a protein. It's not even a fat. It's bringing it around the body because it needs to repair cells. Certain cells need it for other, synthesizing cell walls or for the testosterone. So it's coming around the body, and people assume that the plaque on the heart, which is your cholesterol, is trying to repair those ulcers. So the LDL gets a bad rap, especially when it's in high numbers, but it's literally completely benign if it's light and fluffy. If it's small, dense LDL, if you have small, dense LDL, so when you talk to your doctor about cholesterol, you want to find out if it is small and dense, your LDL, or if it's light and fluffy. You want to make sure they can run that test. If it's small and dense, it actually gets tucked inside some of the cell lining around the heart, and it'll get caught in, and it oxidizes, it calcifies, it draws more cholesterol trying to repair the area, and then you have a blockage, and then all of a sudden you can have a heart attack. Remember also HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, it removes the LDL. So the LDL is supposed to go there, repair the ulcer or the damage. The HDL comes and kind of smooths it out, and then brings it back to the liver to be metabolized. So you're looking for and low HDL cholesterol is almost as bad, or probably is as bad, especially in women. They look at that as the indicator. If your HDL cholesterol is low, then you'll probably have heart disease. So having high HDL is just as important as making sure that your LDL is not small and dense. What causes small and dense LDL is carbohydrates and elevated insulin levels. And there's a bunch of other particles, but it's not at all your fat consumption. It's carbohydrates, high blood sugar. High blood sugar is toxic. It needs to be stored. This is what diabetics, the real Rosetta Stone in this all, Jay, and I don't want to get too far off on it, but your body cannot tolerate high levels of blood glucose. And what happens is it needs to be stored somewhere. So what happens, it stores it in its fat cells, but when you become insulin resistant, that means your insulin is not able to shuttle the blood sugar in quick enough into your fat cells because you're not burning them up, and it causes ulcers and damage to the arteries the same way sugar would give you a cavity and plaque would build on it. It's not the plaque, it's what is causing the deterioration of the tooth wall or the artery wall. So what you need to focus in on is the idea that fats could be good, could be extremely beneficial, especially when we want to put on that last 5. And for Jay, I'm shooting to put on 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. And Jay's at the point where we want to just put maybe a little here and a little on his shoulder. And the guy's, I mean, he's a real go-getter. You should learn from Jay. One great quote he had the other day was, your future is your dreams of today. So whatever you're dreaming today is how your future is going to be developed, and that's how you should look at your life. I think it's a great, wise idea. Hopefully this answers the questions. Jay will be talking more in depth on the diet and the nutrition, and I'll give you a particular food, Steve. But for right now, yes, make those changes, and I know we're running long, but hey, this is what I do. So have a great day, guys. Enjoy. We'll see you soon.